This is the Stock Day Podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. Here's your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, I'm bringing back a returning guest. It was on my show back in the middle of March here in 2019. And if you're looking for a gold company, you might want to take a look at this company. I feel it's undervalued here at 13 cents a share with a market cap of only $21 million. And we're talking about no other than Bullfrog Gold Corp. They've been on the show many times here. Well, you can find them on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol BFGC. They just recently, as of around the 11th of September, moved up to the CSE, the Canadian Stock Exchange, and that ticker symbol is under BFG. And with us today is the CEO and treasurer of the company, Mr. David Beling. David, welcome back to the show.
Everett, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. It's great to have you. I can't believe it's been about 7 months since the last time you've been on the show.
Well, there's been a lot of things change, and a lot of them have been positive.
Well, that's good. You know, you put out a press release. I want to start off with this. You put out a press release here on October 23rd about high gold recoveries. What is that all about? And share the good news with us.
Well, about 18 months ago, we actually embarked on a metallurgical testing program. We collected bulk samples out of the Bullfrog and Montgomery-Shoshone pits at our project near Beling, Nevada, and had those tested at the laboratory in Reno using the technology of high-pressure grinding rolls. And what they do is they can produce a finer product than a conventional crushing circuit, and it also has a lot more microfractures in it, so you get a better and faster recovery. And we've been doing these campaigns for nearly 2 years now, and we've had very good success with it. And these particular ores where we're located are highly amenable to the use of high-pressure grinding rolls. In fact, we were getting recoveries up to 91% on a particle that was sized at 1/16th of an inch, which is extremely fine for most heap leach projects, but this particular project has lower clay contents, and it doesn't generate as much fines as a lot of other gold deposits. So this particular ore performed very well. We've now gone through 4 sets of campaigns, and we've had very good results. So I think there's no question that we're going to use this technology, and it does add recovery. I mean, gosh, before we were looking at an average recovery on the order of 75%, and with high-pressure grinding rolls, you can pick up another 5-10%. We're still doing some studies in that regard, but that's been a real positive attribute. It's just one of many other attributes that we have on the project. So that's been a result of, like I say, nearly 2 years of work, and we've had very good success with it.
And this is the project, your flagship project is the Bullfrog mining property, correct?
Yes, that's a project that's located about 125 miles northwest of Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's only about 4 miles west of the town of Beatty in Nevada. So you've got a paved highway right up to the front gate. You've got water underneath the existing pits. There's power on site. The deposits have been mined deep by Barrick over the past, well, they quit mining in 1999, but the slopes of those deposits have been standing there for over 20 years at a steep angle. So there's just a lot of attributes, and this high-pressure grinding roll performance adds to that growing list.
Speaking of that, what is the most important recent developments there at that project? Are you guys doing any leaching? When do you think we'll be able to monetize any of that?
Well, we still have to go through a preliminary economic analysis and ultimately a final or bankable feasibility study, as well as gathering or gaining and securing the permits necessary to operate and construct the project as well as reclaim it. We did recently in fact, this goes back to May and June, We got the permits from the state of Nevada as well as the Bureau of Land Management to drill the priority holes that we've listed over the past several years. I think, as you may recall, we've got a database that consists of 155 miles of drill data that we have acquired from Barrick Gold when we acquired parts of their property, and we've evaluated that in great detail. And so now we've also generated another exploration target that we're really excited about. It's about 1 mile east of the Bullfrog pit. It's got the identical host rocks. There's gold on the surface. You've got similar structures. And there's a zone there that's about 400 meters wide and nearly 2 kilometers long. And that particular zone has no drill holes in it. And so you've got all the ingredients that it takes. In fact, you could potentially fit another Bullfrog pit into that area. And the Bullfrog deposit actually had, as far as a resource, before it was mined, had about 1.8, nearly 2 million ounces in it. So we're quite enthused, and only recently did we obtain the permits to go ahead and drill that.
One of the things I'm pretty excited about, and it just happened right after our show in March, you guys did a private placement. You raised about $1.1 million. What are you doing with that money?
Well, we spent quite a bit of money going through getting that CSE listing. We had to go through a long-form prospectus with the BC Securities Commission, and I can tell you that consumed a lot of oxygen as well as time and money, legal fees and whatnot. But that's a current document. It was just released here in September. You can get it on the CDAR website in Canada, or if somebody wants to see it, it's about 240 pages long, and there's a lot of information in that. So that really did take quite a bit of our efforts. We've had these permits. I've also funded the cash reclamation bonds on that with the state as well as the Bureau of Land Management. So those cash bonds are in place. And in the meanwhile, we've had this metallurgical testing going as well as some other environmental studies. One of the studies we recently completed back in June, this area has desert tortoise habitat, and we had a recognized firm do an assessment of that, and they found no past or present evidence of any of the desert tortoise in all the areas we plan to drill. So that money that we acquired back then, we also embarked on several exposure campaigns in the UK as well as Europe. And so that's where that funding went, as well as the normal course of business, keeping the lights on, so to speak. So we've made a lot of progress on the environmental side, on the technical side. We also have continue to review this information that we have, and there's quite a bit of interest. And in fact, the Bullfrog area, as many of your audience may know, there's been major companies. Anglo Gold has staked a lot more claims there. They're a big landholder there. Corvus Gold has staked more claims here. Just a few months ago, Kinross Gold entered the area and staked several hundred claims, some of which were adjacent to our land holdings. So this is one of the hottest exploration areas in the U.S., and there's a lot of big players there. Core Mining, a couple of years ago, bought out a position there for $90 million U.S. So there's a lot of activity in the immediate area around Beatty, and we're sitting essentially in the center of it.
Yeah, your market cap's only around $21 million, stock price around 13 cents. For me, like I said earlier in the show, very undervalued. But why should you think that the investors should take a look at your stock now?
Well, I mean, you look at our comparison with peer companies. I mean, right now we're valued at about $32 an ounce of gold in the ground, and that's measured and indicated resources that were independently estimated. And heck, there's several other companies, Corvus, Pershing, West Kirkland, Northern Vertex, and other folks. the average market cap, an ounce of gold in the ground is about 70. So we're less than half of what several peer companies are trading at. And there lies the opportunity. I mean, I think every CEO says he's undervalued, but you can look at the information I have and you can see that it's well documented. Plus, we've got very solid exploration potential. We've got existing pits that we're going to expand. We don't have as much cost to build this project as you would in a greenfield project because the roads are in, the power is in, there's water under the pits, the pit ramps are in. You're close to town, which I've been involved with several projects over the past several decades, and I've never been this close to town in a long time. So you add all of those things up, and this is why investors should take a look at us. They should go to our website. You can see our PowerPoints. You can gather more information. I'm accessible. People can call me if they have any questions. But if they go to our website, bullfroggold.com, all of our SEC filings, the PowerPoint, and much additional information is there. So you can take a look at what we have and compare it to anyone else, and then make a prudent investment decision.
David, well said. I want to thank you for coming on the show today. David Beling's been my guest today. He's the CEO of Bullfrog Gold Corp. You can find them on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol BFGC. They're also now listed on the CSE under the ticker symbol BFG. David, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hopefully I don't have to wait another 7 months for you to come back on the show. I'd like to hear what's going out there in Nevada and with your, project, the Bullfrog Gold Project, and I know it's your flagship project, and you guys are very, happy with it and what's going on. So I wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully, like I said, you'll come back on in a couple of months and give us an update.
Well, thank you, Everett. It's always good to visit over the company and the project.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by La Jolla Media LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are for educational and research purposes. Stock Day encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional.